Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Beginners Online Trading webinar. My name is Danny, and I will give you the webinar today. In the beginning, we will have an introduction to the company, what services we have, just on a nutshell that can assist you with your journey. And the second part will be more practical in terms of learning the basics, which are quite essential for trading, basics essential for trading. And lastly, we'll have analysis as a bonus if we'll have spare time. But the majority of the webinar will happen on the second part, which will be 95% practical. Okay, so any capital markets and trading information disclosed in this webinar is provided for informative purposes only and should not be constructed or applied as an investment advice, recommendation, or a suggestion. Besides that, you guys should know that the webinar is recorded, so even if you've missed a certain part or you have to leave in the middle, that's fine. You can find the recorded version on our YouTube channel. Before we will begin, I would like us to have a place for there we go. So notepad for the notes. Okay, and like I said, we're going to begin with an introduction. So AvaTrade, as many of you know, is a regulated company. We have 9 licenses worldwide. Our customer service, in case you got a query or a question, is right here at the bottom left. You can chat with us or on the WhatsApp. Or if you don't use this interface, you can simply send an email to cs@avatrade.com. And CS is going to assist you customer service with all the customer service queries. Regarding trading questions, you can ask for a senior account manager to be assigned on your file. It's a privilege that we give. You don't have to pay anything extra for that. You can ask depending on your eligibility through customer service to assign somebody on your file. Of course, a senior account manager can also assist you with some customer service here and there, but the point with the senior account manager is to provide you with things related to trading. So everything's related to trading, from a plan, strategy, risk money management, anything that's basically analysis that's basically under that umbrella. All right, now the web trader that we're looking at, the platform that we're looking at is called the web trader. Okay, we have the web trader and the trading platform, which is the app. Okay. And besides that, we have the regular platforms, which is MT4 and MT5. Okay, we have Ava Options and Ava Social. And since this is a beginner for webinars, not beginners only, but this is a webinar for beginners, so I think it's worth mentioning a few words about Ava Social. Now, what Ava Social allows you to do, in difference from other trading app, is 2 main functions. Okay, the idea here is a social media platform, and what it allows you to do is to follow or copy another trader. Now, if I'm a beginner and I'm not exactly sure how I'm going to do things or what I'm going to do in general. So sometimes following somebody else can really inspire me and help me with my strategy and a plan. So when you log into the app, after you download the app, obviously, you log into the app, you're going to have access to choose from lists trader that you would like to follow or copy. Excuse me, guys, just a moment. It gives you the access to choose from lists a trader that you can follow or copy. Now, what does that mean to follow or copy? If I'm copy somebody, okay, another trader, let's suppose that I'm going to go with copy now to explain. That means that the person that I'm the trader that I'm copying, let's suppose that we are trader A, okay, copy trader B. It means that whatever the trader that I'm copying will do, I will do the same. My account will do the same. Of course, in the app, you have an ability to adjust the difference. And in case that I'm copying somebody with much smaller amount or much bigger amount, I can adjust it to take the positions in proportions to my account size, okay? To be at the minimum or something like that, depending what I want. And then, of course, it would make more sense, right? If I'm copying somebody with 200,000 and I with 10, not all the positions that is going to take, I'll be able to handle with enough margin. Now, that's to copy somebody, okay? Whatever he's doing, my account will doing. Of course, I can go to the positions and I can see what positions are active. I can go to the history and see what positions he took. Well, he took and I copied, my account copied. Okay, and that just happens automatically and it's super convenient. Of course, I advise you to do some research for your copying someone. And to follow works the same way, just without the positions launching automatically. So I'm going to get messages, I'm going to get notifications with the positions that the trader, that trader B has taken, right? If I'm following, that was what I explained initially, that was to copy. Now I'm explaining to follow. So to follow works the same way, but the positions are not executed automatically, okay? To follow means that I'm going to get the positions information, but it's for me to decide if I want to execute it similarly or not. In other words, no automatic trading is happening on my account, okay? Only with copy. Follow is more informative. I can do research with it. I can execute automatically, but it's not launching any positions. With copying, that's practically linking my account to somebody else, and then whatever he does, I do. And like I said, I can adjust it in a way that makes sense, not blindly follow to the exact proportion of the positions. Okay. Now, let's carry on with the web trader. There are a couple of things that I'm going to show you now that will only be found on the web trader. Okay. And then, oh, sorry, trading app. Yeah. And now, if I'm going to begin with something, actually, no, let's, I think last week we went through Ava Protect. Now I'm going to show you the signals, I think. Okay, so on the left-hand side, there are all kind of interesting things here. There is here tutorials, there is all kind of things you can find on the left-hand side. I advise you guys to explore that, and of course there is a lot of content you can enjoy. What I'm going to show you now is called the signal section. Let me show it to you first how to pick a signal from here, and then we're going to go through the section. And the reason for that is, if I go to the section, I cannot search an asset here that's specific beside manually. In other words, what is in here mostly have a signal. Beside, as you can see, certain cases which it doesn't have. Euro USD as an example, it's in here in the signal section, but the signal is not valid anymore. Why is it not valid? The signals are made by Trading Central with an approach of technical analysis, meaning it's based on certain levels on the chart. As you can see, there is a scenario here that the signal is made out of. Okay, certain levels. According to those levels, there is something called take profit, there is something called stop loss. If the signal would have been valid and the information here would have still be intact, then as soon as I click buy or sell and I go down, I should have had take profit and stop loss marked. Take profit, when reaching to a certain level that I've marked on the chart, it's going to close it automatically with a profit. Stop loss works the other way around. So reaching a certain level closes my position with a loss. Always when I want to buy, I want the value to increase. Therefore, my take profit will always be higher. My stop loss will have to be lower. Therefore, with a buy, take profit is going to be in a higher value and stop loss in a lower value. If this would have been a sell scenario, it would work the other way around, right? Meaning, my intention is that the value will decrease. Therefore, my take profit will have to be in a lower point, and the stop loss will have to be in a higher point. Now, the signal does this for me automatically, as long as it's still valid. But if it's not, just like it's presented here, and it's also mentioning here in light blue, the market has already reached a key level. So this signal is not valid anymore. Therefore, we're not getting the automatically placed take profit and stop loss. If we take something that is valid, like NASDAQ, I'm just going to simply click it, and it's valid because it was just produced less than an hour ago, right? And the huge benefit using the signal section is that you can just scroll down, and you get it by linear timeline, okay, from the newest to the oldest. If you do it from the outside, you can search a particular asset that you're following without to go manually through the list. If you click it, it's going to show you here in light blue if it has a signal or not. And in this case, if I click it, we see that the signal here is that gold does have a signal. And let's see if it's still, you see, already working, right? That was very, very simple. Let me show it to you again. I simply click here. It doesn't really, I want you guys to understand, it's very important. It doesn't practically make a difference if I do it from here, clicking on the blue lightning, and then buy or sell. Or if I go to the signal section, then I do it from here. Let me find gold. Or I do it from here. You see, it leads you to the exact same place. The only difference is that from the outside, I'm able to first put my asset and then to know if it has a signal. And through the signal section, I have to, like you saw, I have to go manually and to find it. And as soon as I open it, of course, I can expand the screen. I can match the validity. Right here, we see that the validity here is daily. This picture is described daily candles. Now it's showing us minly candles, right? 1 minute candle, 5 minutes, 15, 30. So I need to go to 1 day to match the validity of the picture that we're looking at here. I can also, of course, place, if I really want to, it's not imperative in any way, but I can roughly place those lines, 25, 31, right? And 25, 40, which is roughly here. And then I can do some further analysis, and I can do all kind of things. Again, I don't have to do any of that, guys, because I showed you just a minute ago that it's gonna place the take profit and stop loss regardless the analysis I'm doing here. Of course, if you ask my personal opinion if you should do it or not, absolutely yes. I'm using the signals as an additional layer and not blindly just jumping in. Of course, I want to see that, you know, it makes sense to me. The scenario here makes sense to me as well. So let's try now with this sell scenario. Okay, you see that the sell scenario here, the ratio I don't really like. It's potential loss is bigger than the profit. Might need to play with it a little. But anyway, the signal to use them is super, super easy and convenient. Let me show you another one. Let's go with oil this time. This time with the buy scenario. Yeah. See the stop loss here. needs to be adjusted. And yeah, well, you, like I said, you want to validate things before you use the signals. You don't want to just blindly use it just like that. It could work, but everybody in his own process. Okay, then, so this is the signal section. As we saw, super simple to use. You just pick something, you can do analysis on top of it, and yeah, choose the scenario, you go with it. Of course, if you want to do further, to do analysis on top of it, you can place the lines, you go down, you have support and resistance. Those are edge points on the chart. It lets you capture a clear picture of what you're about to analyze, which is highly recommended to learn as a beginner, support and resistance, how to identify, and so on. The next thing that I'm going to show you guys, do we have any questions? I'm sorry, I almost forgot to ask. Is there any questions regarding what I've explained? All right, so let's carry on. No questions regarding what I've explained, guys. Question from Charlotte: does it cost money? No, Charlotte, it doesn't cost any money. As I'm showing you, there is no fee here. You see, I'm going to the signal section and just comfortably using without any yeah, you don't have to pay. At least now it's free content. Okay, let's carry on with ease. Let's carry on with something fundamental, because what I've showed you until now is technical analysis with, as I said, with the signal section. Let's look at something fundamental. We have here the nice news section here, which you can explore, read, and at the bottom here you can find also what it's related to. You can also use the economic calendar, which is, I think, one of the primary tools to do analysis with, or at least to have an idea how to approach the market in regards to fundamental. Before that, if you would like to, this is something I personally like very much. As you can see, the Globy icon here, discovery. You see there is market buzz. Let me show you. There is a slider here. You want to see a bigger picture to focus to see this way. Okay, and then I can click on something, NVIDIA as an example. I'm gonna let it see, and it's showing me the mentions. What does it mean, the mentions? As you can see to the right hand side, we have the news section from various websites, investing.com, market news, channel News Asia, and Zolmax. And I can simply, this is like I said, NVIDIA, I can simply go through that, and I can have a very nice idea of what's happening with NVIDIA, and it really, if it encourages me to invest more and to see if this is might be a good entry for a sell or a buy. Of course, if they are before a positive announcements, positive performance, I can go through that and I can have a very nice idea of what's happening with NVIDIA, which I highly recommend you to try. And also, it shows you in what subject NVIDIA was mentioned about, and then you can be more focused when you're doing your analysis. Now, the economic calendar, what you can do here, I see it's already filtered. Let's first reset everything to the default. Set the countries as well. Very good. Okay, and oh, let's keep it this way. Just wanted to fold it. Okay, now the economic calendar, how does it work? As you can see, there are lists here of different currencies, different events. We can see what happened last time and make comparison to what we anticipate. This one doesn't really, let's go with something that has a forecast. As you can see, so if I'm looking at the crude oil stock exchange, okay, I get the previous report minus 4649, and we anticipate it will be minus 3 million. Okay. Now we don't have, as you can see, we have four columns here. We have the impact, how powerful we think that this event will be as an impact on the market. The actual, which we can never have, obviously, before the event, right? Because that's the final, that's the result. We have the forecast, like I said, which is what we anticipate, and we have the previous. Now, if I click on the tab here on that, what will open here is different buttons with all kind of things that can help me assess where I'm heading with the analysis for the dollar, okay, or for oil. Depends what I'm analyzing in regards to that. Okay, as you can see, I can also add it to my calendar, which is, I think it's really super useful, because then I don't have to sit by the computer all day. I can simply focus on the times that I choose to do the analysis near the event, beforehand, later on. What else I can do is, okay, so this is we were focusing on that event, but let's suppose that I don't want to go with a medium event. I want to go primarily with a high impact only. High impact only, I marked the high impact, as you can see, it's in red. Let me show you how the low looks like. Okay, so the low looks like that. Medium, we already saw that the grayish thingy. And high is red, so we can go with a high impact only. And let's suppose that I'm not really analyzing the dollar, but instead I'm analyzing the pound. Let's go with a pound. Okay, and then what will happen is it's only going to show me things related to UK, right? It's going to show me high impact related to UK. And I can also filter it by the time. So let's suppose I'm going to click in here, and I want to know not only the events that we have today, but I want to know a month forward. Of course, it's, well, quite some time, but you understand the idea. Okay, I can choose how many days forward it's going to show me. And again, similar concept, previous forecast, actual, and, well, the impact we've already filtered on that. Yeah, you can find, oh, one more thing. If there is a particular event that you wish to analyze, to find, sorry. Okay, and then it's going to show you the particular event. Obviously, things that has actual, as we've learned, has already happened, and the new ones without the actual is the upcoming one. Okay, we can click on the X here. Very well. So this pretty much concludes the economy calendar. Oh, I should have showed you. You saw there is a reset button here. If I click it, it resets everything, and then I can start from to choose differently if I want. Okay, I think that is enough for the intro, for the first part, and we can get down to business. Anybody has anything to ask or to add about anything that I've explained so far? Any questions at all? Let's, in the meantime, find something here to begin with. Okay. All right. So, all right. let me open it with the search bar because I want to explain about it anyway. So it might be wiser to just simply, let me also get rid of everything else. Actually, let's get rid of that as well. Now we're going to put our asset here. Okay. Now let's search platinum and simply click it from the list, and then buy or sell to just simply open the sidebar here. And we're going to go from left to right, basically understanding what these buttons are and how to use them. So the first thing to begin with is obviously where we search the instrument, right? Second thing is the time frame. We already went through that, right? We have 1D, 1W, 1M for months. The rest is hours and minutes. Let's keep it for days for now. This is how to change the layout, not the layout, the shape of the chart. It's wave or candlesticks. This is to enable the crosshair. Then I can get data from the candles. So you can see now the candles are showing us data, but beforehand we didn't have anything, right? So we're going to click here on the crosshair. We're going to enable it to the crosshair, and then when we are moving, then we get numbers. Those are weekends. This is why it's gray, right? No change. This is how I can change the layout if I want to split to two different to look at two assets simultaneously, or if I want to have maybe three, or I want it to be above and below, or maybe even four. Okay. Now, indicators, we're going to play with that anyway, so no need. And in here, all the nice lines which we like to play with. And now we can simply begin. Just a second. Okay. All right. So we are now looking at platinum. We have absolutely no idea where platinum is. Well, platinum is currently bearish. We should say that. But of course, we don't have an exact, so let's make it a sell. We don't have an exact definition how far down platinum will go, if it will proceed going down, if it will turn around. We don't have any pure indication. This is what we see. Okay, just a second, guys, just making a small adjustment a little bit just to have an idea what to do later on. Okay, and now when we are analyzing the platinum, and we would like to, as an example, carry on with a sell. Who thinks that this is a place for a sell, and who thinks that this is a buy? Let me see what you think, guys. This is sell or a buy, or I should wait? Okay, Charlotte, you responded that it might turn around. Okay, that's agreeable. Hian, you also replied wait. Okay, anybody else? Camilla, wait and then buy. Okay, thank you. All right, so there are several opinions here. Some say wait, some say sell, some say buy, and that's fine. Let's suppose that we indeed go with the sell. Okay, Mr. Billy here also responded with a sell. Let's suppose that this is a sell, right? Can we have any specific indication how far down will platinum go, or it can turn around somewhere? What do you think, guys? Do we have any assurance when will platinum turn around, or we cannot know that? What do you think? Okay, so here you assumed it will move to 913.4, which is exactly where I marked. Okay, right? Yeah. Now, because if I'm gonna sell now, yeah, if I'm gonna sell and it doesn't reach, let's suppose that this is indeed again, Kian, I'm going with your recommendation, okay? Let's suppose that I'm gonna place 913 as an example, okay? And it gets to here, I'm gonna make profits. What if it doesn't get all the way down? Will I make any profits? Absolutely yes. However, if it gets to that level, okay, if it doesn't go all the way, but it goes beforehand and it turns around, if it turns around beyond my price, I'll stop making profits. But till this point, just to be clear, as long as the asset, as I have explained in the beginning of the webinar, as long as the asset goes below the price, because I'm with the sell, I will make profits. Okay? Goes beyond that, okay, if it goes beyond, if it's in the green area, it goes below, okay, value decreases, I make profits. If it turns around, it's red. In other words, if it gets to the, let's paint it in, let's say white, if it gets to the white line and it turns around, that means I'm not going to make profits. Okay, I have to close my position with the profit before it turns around. In other words, this sell might be fine, but I need to know which price am I going to release the position if it keeps going down. Maybe here, maybe here, maybe here. I need to know. Now, when we are looking at days, I also need to know that this is a realistic price that I'm aiming for. Maybe, for instance, I'm aiming platinum to get to, again, I'm obviously going as extreme as I can, but let's suppose that I'm going for a price that is hypothetical, right? So it's not gonna, it might not be realistic for me to achieve that goal. So we need a number that is realistic with what platinum can move to. Okay, so we have a range. We've marked certain support and resistance. If this would have been my room, so I'd had ceiling and the floor. So of course this would have been my roof. This would have been my floor. Okay, so we have highest level, slowest level, and something in the middle, which we are almost right in the middle. Not exactly, but almost. Okay, 947.5. And now I'm thinking, what price is it good to aim for to have a take profit? Because I don't want to close the position manually, to sit by the chart and to wait until it gets there, and if it will get there, it's not really wise. I want to place a take profit and to know that it happened. Okay. Besides that, beside the price that I'm aiming for, I also need to know that the money that I'm going to make is worth a while. What if this position is going to be open for a week or 2 weeks, and I'm only going to make $300 a week, or maybe 2 weeks? Might be too long. So I want to also know that the amount that I'm making is enough for me to, that I want, okay, that meets with my ambitions. Okay, so first of all, I need a target. Let's suppose that our target in this case will be $500, not 300. And I also need to know that it matches with my ambitions. Therefore, I need a time length which I'm planning to manage this position. I'm not going to hold it forever. Keeping in mind that there is a spread in the beginning of the position, and there is overnight fee that every day that I'm holding the position, I have to pay a certain amount, okay? At the end of the position, of course. So the time, let's say 1 week. Now, besides that, let's also think about, as we said, the movements, okay, which we are looking for. Because again, it might get to here like Heon suggested, but it might get to here, or it might even get higher than that, like that, right? 941. So how can we know? We have to know that it's realistic. Now, if, of course, any of the things that I'm showing you now, guys, is not mandatory. There is no one way to trade. There are thousands of ways to trade. I'm showing you one of them. You can choose if to do it this way or not. Now, in this case, I would like to have some measurement if platinum is the price that I'm aiming for is reachable or not. The last thing that I'm going to ask for is the units. The units is the amount of quantities that I'm going to acquire, whether if it's a sell or a buy. Okay, because platinum is a expensive metal, it's going to be measured in ounces. But any other thing, any instrument is measured by something called lot. Lot is a measuring unit, captures a certain amount of units. The lot size for platinum is 100. Therefore, if I'm going to place here one lot, it's going to stand for 100 units. I'm going to take something like oil as an example. So oil is going to be 1,000 for one lot. So by placing one lot, I'll have 1,000. Why does this make any difference if one lot equals to 100 or one lot equals to 1,000, or even in currencies, one lot is 100,000. So what difference does this make? Okay, we're gonna have a look at that. Not now though. Okay, but right now what we want to do is we're gonna go one by one. We have the target, which is fine, 500, 1 week, no problem. Movements. Now, how to find the movements? One way is, of course, to primitively go. Well, I should have used this word, but the old technique is just to go by the candles, right? I'm pointing on the candles. I see open, high, low, and close, and I can simply write down the edges of those segments, and I can say, listen, the difference between the open and the close is such, and the difference between the high and the low is such. Therefore, out of this statistics, I can somehow expect platinum to move this way or another. Problem is, as you can see, if I'm relying on one candle to simulate me what can be the potential movement for platinum, well, it's going to be inaccurate. Why? Obviously, because the size of the candle, the shape of the candle, and how it's constructed is entirely different from its previous. It's actually almost the opposite. Not to mention that the candle beforehand is even smaller, and the candle before the end of the weekend looks completely different. In other words, relying on one candle is not enough. I have to jot down at least a good bunch of candles, and then to start subtracting the numbers. Now, this is an old way to do it. Now I have indicators for that. Moving averages and average true range. Let's apply the average true range, and then we see. Okay, now instead of doing it by myself, I'm going to go to the indicators, and in here I'm going to put down AVE for average true range. Then I'm going to click it, and I'm going to drag it to the right. In here we have the different types: Wilders, exponential, simple, and weighted. We're going to use Wilders for now. In the length, what is this length stands for? The length is the amount of candles that we would like this indicator to analyze. How many candles does it go backward? 14. Okay. Now, because we're looking at weeks, days, and I have weekly target, I have to consider either to validate the time frame to weekly candles or to acknowledge the days as weeks. Meaning, if I'm looking at 14 candles and I'm looking at days, it means that I'm looking at 2 weeks. 2 weeks. Why? Because this is days, and in here 14 candles. Therefore, 14 divided by 7 days a week is 2 weeks. If it would have been like that, 3 weeks, right? Of course, I don't have to do it. I can just switch 2 weeks and pick 3, but I want to keep it this way because I like the picture that I can analyze. This is why I'm keeping it this way. Now, this is the average per day for the past 21 days, 3 weeks. This is the average per day, not per week. Okay? That means that the 17 here is something I can expect Platinum to make on average per day. If I'll switch it to 1 week, it's going to show me 21 weeks backward, and it's going to show me the average for week. Therefore, if I'm going to go to the indicator and I'll mark 3, it's going to show me only for the past 3 weeks, and it's going to show me the average for per week. Therefore, I'm going to put here weekly average ATR equals. Okay, so this is not a guaranteed number. I'm going to go back again because this is a picture easier to analyze, at least for me. And now I have the average per week. Okay, again, it's showing us days, but just ignore that. We've already have the ATR for weekly. Let's suppose that we would like to place our take profit based on that, 44. Now, because we are selling, and I've explained when we are selling, take profit needs to be in a lower value. That means that we have to subtract from the now price, okay, which can be found here, or on the chart. The now price is now 44.4. I have to subtract by 44, which is the ATR, right? And then I know what will happen if it moves according to the ATR. What price will it be? Okay, and then I can get a flat. Let me do it with you guys. Since okay. Now, of course, 900 is below the support line. Okay, so this is also something I should consider. And in that case, I think I'm going to go a little bit higher, maybe 920 or 919, okay, just to be a little more cautious. Therefore, instead of 44, it will come down to $25. Okay, so 44 will be 25. Okay, now this is what I'm expecting. This is what the ATR is giving me. I've made a little adjustment as a precautious because I think 44 to go down below the support. It's a little advanced this bit, guys, so you need to focus and understand what I'm showing you. The ATR has showed us an average 44 per week. That means that it can go below the support line, which I find it a little bit dangerous. And this is why, for my own opinion, I've took a little higher take profit. Therefore, 919 is now the new destined goal for me. Let's place that here as our. Okay. Now, when we are placing the take profit, it's important to remember that the target is something we want to achieve by reaching that price. Therefore, if I'll see, I minimize it to the bare minimum. If I see that by placing take profit at 919, that means $25 away from the current price, I can make 25. Yeah, I have 1 unit. If it goes 25, I make 25. If I make, let's say 10, okay, if I take 10, this 25 will be 250, right? And if I make it 20, it will be 500. However, this kind of guessing game is one way to do it, but I'm going to teach you a very nice way to do it without a guessing game. Okay? What we have to do is simply subtract the target by the movement, and then we'll have the units. Therefore, 500 divided by 25 is how much, guys? 20. That's correct. And let's match with the validity of our plan to see all numbers make sense. Okay, this one, let's make it 20. Very nice. Okay, now let's see that this position is affordable. And just to simulate, if I would like to use the same length that I took for the take profit for the stop loss, and instead of subtracting it from the current price, I have to now add it. Why do I have to add it? Because when we are selling, stop loss needs to be in a higher value. Therefore, now we're going to go plus 25, and then we're going to see that hypothetically the stop loss can be placed at 969.4, which is 69 in here. Okay, and if it will be the same length as our take profit, I should make or lose approximately the same amount. Now let's suppose that I'm not happy with this 500, and what I can simply do is I can get the stop loss a little closer, maybe half of 25. How much is that? 12. So 943 plus 12 is roughly 955, right? If I've done a mistake, let's see together. Okay. There we go. And now my ratio is much better, 1 to half and not 1 to 1. All right. Now, how do we know? How can we simply know if this position is something we can take or not? Okay. By the way, this bit that I've explained now about risk money management is something I highly recommend everybody, including beginners, intermediate, or advanced, to look into, because the risk money management is the core of basically how to be cautious with your strategy. You don't want to be too exposed, and yet you still have to make profits. So taking the minimum position might not always get you the amount that you wanted. So risk money management is finding the balance. I highly recommend everybody to learn about that. Unfortunately, we have 5 minutes, so I won't be able to expand anything about that. But what I would do, what I do want to do is I want to show you guys if we can afford this position. Okay, so simply we're going to look at the price here, 940. Well, it's 942. Okay, times the amount of units that we take, which is 20. Okay, equals a value of 18,854. Okay, that's the value. In here, we're going to write price, and here we're going to go amount of units, and time equals value. Okay, and now that is something we are going to divide by the leverage, which is 1 to 10. And then we're going to go value divided by leverage equals margin impact. In other words, 18,854 divided by 10 is 1,854, which is written here. Oh, it keeps on changing. So guys, ignore the fact that the numbers are inaccurate, because the market will keep on moving, and the numbers are not going to stay the same. Okay, but the margin impact, which is the bottom line of what I'm showing you, equals necessary amount to open a position. Okay, and why is that important, guys? Why is that important to have enough margin in the account? Who knows? Why is that important to be able to maintain your margin at all times? Let me ask you otherwise. What happens when I don't have enough margin? Anybody knows what happens when I don't have enough margin to hold the positions? Cannot open a trade. Okay, Hian, thank you. Very nice. But what is worse than that? Let's put aside the fact that, of course, when I don't have any budget, I can't open new positions. That's fine. What else will happen with the rest of my positions when I don't have enough money to hold it? Sorry, when I don't have enough margin to hold it. Anybody knows? Thank you, Khalif. My positions will be closed. My positions will be, well, my primary position will be closed to free up more margin. But the bottom line is right. When I don't have enough margin, the platform will close the position. It's called margin call, and then next step is stop out. And yeah, so it's important to know how to maintain the margin. This is why I'm showing you this exercise. It's very important to know how to do risk money management, to be able to compose the position in a way that makes sense, and not just to randomly click sell or buy. Okay, as you can see, there are lots of ways here to simulate how the position is going to look like before I'm even opening this position. Now, I understand that this process takes a couple of minutes, but at the end of the day, it helps me just, understand what I'm doing with the position and if it's worth for me or not. And also, using the web trader is super efficient. It's already showing me here all the calculation that I showed you is already showed me here automatically. I have the value, I have the margin impact, which is the amount that I need to open the position. I have the leverage and some other things. But the bottom line is very helpful, and you can use it to really check and simulate before you're taking the positions, which can save you a lot of money. All right. Now, guys, unfortunately, our time is up. I would like to thank everybody in the audience that helped me through the webinar. And I wish you guys, that you've learned at least one good thing out of the webinar. Other than that, you're all welcome to tomorrow live Q&A. So I wish you all a fruitful week and have a good day.